thing on? Hey there, comic book friends. I'm Travis, and this is another edition of What the Fugue, where I talk about what's going on with me in my world of comics. How's it going, everybody? Doing pretty good. Back on the horse here, gonna do some videos. It has been at least a month or more since I've done a What the Fugue, and it's been at least that long also since I've done any videos other than some of the comic book roundtable hangouts. Haven't been doing any videos. Maybe I'll get into why that is, and maybe I won't get into why that is. At any rate, hopefully a comic book roundtable this week. Hopefully I'll have my books on time. I've been having a real problem for the last month, not from the shipper per se, not from Discount Comic Book Service where I get my books from. They've done a fine job. They've gotten the books out like they're supposed to and everything. The problem has been is that Postal Service has misdelivered my comics for almost every week. It seems like they'll send them to either towns around me, but not right where I'm at, or they'll literally last week there was no comic book roundtable because my books actually went to California and spent 2 days in California. So there's that. Anyway. It ends up being whatever it is as far as that goes. So hopefully I'll have my books on time. Looks like from the tracking that my books should be here. So I'll read some books and I'll be on talking comic books. Hopefully we'll have Jen on. I don't know who else I'll get to come on. Whoever wants to jump on, give me a shout, and on Twitter let me know, or send me a direct message here on YouTube. Let me know you want to be on, and we'll get you on and we'll talk some comic books. Itching to talk some comic books. It seems like it's been a long time since I talked comic books, but at any rate, what's been going on with me? Been reading and doing stuff. Month ago, basically about a month ago, I went on a vacation. Ended up going down to Las Vegas. Had a great time in Las Vegas. Lots of comic shops in Las Vegas. I bought some books and whatnot. Had an amazing time with that. Hung out a little bit with Sarah Smash, talking comics and whatnot. Had a great time. We went to her comic book store. Went to some other comic book stores before she pulled the plug on her channel. You might have actually seen we did a video together. Had a great time, but. We stopped at a comic book store. It's not her regular store. Drawing a blank on what the name of the store is right now. Awesome store, run by an old guy. It was more of a. It seemed very indie friendly. The way the store was set up, it was set up like a bookstore. So you actually went to sections like this is a fantasy section, and so all the fantasy type comic books would be there. You went to crime there, and then also books were set up, DC, Marvel, that typical kind of thing and whatnot. Really great store. I did pick up some books there. The thing that really amazed me was the back wall of this comic shop is covered with original art. It's either con sketches or a lot of page art was stuck on the wall, and I'm like blown away just because if you've watched my videos, I collect original art too. Love seeing the craft, love seeing the pencil lines, love seeing all that stuff and whatnot. So I'm looking at this haul over, and lo and behold, stuck to the wall, literally stuck with push pins, is a Jack Kirby Black Panther page, just stuck to the wall, piece of plastic over it, stuck to the wall, not framed, not protected in any way. Absolutely mind-blowing. None of the art was for sale. Trust me, I asked, had a long conversation with the shop owner about it, about when he purchased it, what kind of, what he paid for it, that sort of stuff. Had a great time talking with him. That was really cool. And that was just awesome to get to see some of that art. There was some art there from the Alan Moore run of Swamp Thing. There was a lot of just really cool stuff, but that Kirby page was just incredible. And just to see it kind of out there in the wild like that was just absolutely strange and whatnot. So, but yeah, that was really cool. That was pretty awesome. So like I said, there's some pretty awesome comic shops there. You know, anybody who follows me on Twitter knows about the Jack Kirby pitch because I took lots of pictures of it and was freaking out. But yeah, anyway, Vegas is pretty cool. In fact, I am going back. I'm going to go back to the Vegas Comic Con is the last part of June. I am planning on going to that. So we'll see what becomes of that. That originally was kind of an outing of a few of us YouTubers were going to be. It's kind of all kind of fallen through. So we'll see what kind of adventures that brings. I plan on bringing my camera. Like most cons, and most of us who go to cons, yeah, good luck on whether or not I actually record anything or not. We'll see how that all shapes up and what that might become. So looking forward to that next month. So I'll talk more about that as I get closer to it. But there's gonna be some cool people there. But like I said, I'll talk about that another time. But yeah, really excited about that. So that's gonna be cool. What else is going on? So something that just got done dealing with. DC Comics, of course, this next September are going to have all of their entire line is going to tie into the Future's End or whatever the weekly book that's out right now in September. That's gonna be their big event. All the books are gonna tie into that. You know, set, I don't know, 5 years or whatever it is into the future, and they're gonna have the 3D, you know, 3D motion covers. They're supposed to be even better than the last ones because the technology's gotten better. And this time around, we've gotten advance notice, so I can actually order my comics for that September now. Right now is when I need to order them. There's a special order place for me to order them on Discount Comic Book Service, a special web page, and I order the ones I want, and then there shouldn't be any worry because then DC will know how many they need to print. So we won't have this whole battle like there was the last 3D covers that came out and that whole fiasco and whatnot. But if you remember when that happened, I chose basically not to get any of the books. I ended up going to the store and buying a few, but I didn't order any of them. You know, I originally was going to get all of them, and then then they couldn't really get me all of them because of the way they made them in the order structure. So I canceled my entire order of DC books and didn't get any DC books for that month. And you know what? I'm going to do it again. I'm not getting any of them. I may go to the store if there's one in particular that I hear is interesting or I decide I'm interested in. But right now, I'm not ordering a single one. I'm not ordering them in 2D. I'm not ordering them in 3D because it's a break in the continuity of the stories I'm reading. I'm not reading that weekly comic. So I'm not interested in how it's going to mess up the titles or change the titles or give me a future of any of the titles that I am reading right now. So I just decided I'm going to save myself all of those, DC books that I buy, and I'm not getting any of them. So for that month, once again, I won't have any DC books. I'll save the money. Heck, maybe I'll do like I did this last time. Maybe I'll go out and find myself some more page art to buy instead, or maybe I'll just save my money. I got stuff going on that that financially it'd probably be smarter to save my money, but who knows. But anyway, so I made the decision. I'm not going to get any of the books for that month because it's not going to affect my titles. They're all labeled #1, so it's not like my collection is going to go up to 40 and then suddenly have I'm going to be missing a title. So it's not like I'm going to have a screwed up run as far as that goes. I mean, I guess if you're a purist and you look at my run of comics and you go, ooh, you don't have that #1, blah, blah, blah. Whatever. I don't care. Because like I said, it's its own number, and so, whatever. So I'm not doing that. Let's see, what else from DC? So I hear that DC is... World's Finest Comic, of course, has been since it was the second wave book out of the New 52, and it's always been basically Huntress and Power Girl. Well, they're moving them out of the book, and they're actually putting Earth 2, Superman, and Batman as the world's finest characters now. So this is going to be yet another Superman, Batman book. So we already have Superman, Batman, and then there's going to be World's Finest, which is Superman, Batman also. I mean, I want to ask why, but of course we all know why, right? Those two characters sell probably better than Huntress and Power Girl. But it seems a real shame to eliminate, a female-centric book with strong characters, that if it's not selling well, maybe they just need to, I don't know, find somebody else to tell a different story. Because it's not like the characters aren't popular. Most people who are Batman fans and are fans of the Batman family like Huntress, and most people like Power Girl too, just because she's got a funner attitude than the rest of the Superman family does. So it seems like a shame to be doing that. Not anything I'll be getting. I mean, I read World's Finest for a while. It dropped it around issue 7 or 8, I think, just because the story wasn't that interesting. I didn't like the style that was written in and whatnot. So anyway, that's kind of crazy. That seems kind of strange. Let's see, Marvel things that's going on that affect me in some fashion. I hear that like issue 5 or issue 6 is the last Warren Ellis, DeCavey, and Jordi Belair Moon Knight. It's been solicited that way. So I'm assuming it doesn't mean that Moon Knight is done. It's just that these creators are not going to work on the book anymore. 6 issues seems awfully short. It's kind of a shame if that's the case, and I don't know if all of them are leaving. Some of them are leaving. What the deal is, but it feels to me like 6 issues is barely going to be enough time to actually introduce this character. Seems how we're spending the first 4 books just kind of giving us these different aspects of the character. So it seems that that's going to be a shame if that ends up being the case, that spend 4 issues just kind of introducing these aspects. So you've just got our whistle wet, and now we're done. And so that's kind of a bummer. So trying to think of anything else going on. Anything else really going on Marvel news-wise that has really captivated me this week or since the last time we talked and whatnot. So yeah, let's get into some other things. So I was kind of thinking about this. So I bought some books when I was in Vegas, and one of the books I bought was the One Trick Ripoff plus Deep Cuts by Paul Pope. I've always kind of been a fan of Paul Pope. I don't own lots of his work and whatnot, so I thought this might be a cool trade to pick up. It's because I like his art style. He has a style. He has his own kind of a flavor, kind of a thing. If you're not familiar with Paul Pope, you haven't read anything of his. If you're familiar with like Becky Cloonan, for instance, and Ryan Kelly, he's kind of a mix of those two, but was around well before those two were putting out what they're putting out, I believe, timeline-wise. I also find Paul Pope interesting, just himself. He seems to have a different, kind of an interesting perspective on comic art and what sequential art can be and that sort of thing. So I'm kind of interested in that. So I figured, I'm just going to get this and check it out. So the beginning of this is the One Trick Ripoff, and of course he writes and draws the entire thing. It's all just him. Was a really fun story, kind of a gang kind of a story about this heist these people were going to pull and how it kind of all goes wrong and bad and screwed up and whatnot. But really, really cool and really neat. Really happy I got that and really enjoyed it. The part I really want to talk about this is the deep cut part of this. The deep cuts is basically stuff that he did through a period of time. I'm flipping through it real quick here to try and find exactly where that is, because it kind of tells me here. So deep cuts, it's different chunks, Columbus, New York, and whatnot. This thing starts around 1993 to 96 and then kind of travels up into later years. And what I really want to talk about it, clear up into 2001, it looks like. But the big thing I want to talk about it is the art. He uses different styles in here, not just his traditional not just his traditional, this is traditional Paul Pope kind of art, but you could tell that he was doing different experiments, experimenting different stuff through these deep cuts, and his writing, the stories he was trying to tell, and quite frankly, some of it's closer to poetry, in my opinion. And I guess that's what I want to talk about. What I really loved about this deep cuts was this. It was art. It was art, and I'm not saying art as in like art on the page. And this is going to make me sound like some elitist snot, I'm sure, which I know there are people out there who want to label me that anyway. So, what the heck, right? But art in the sense that it wasn't so straightforward trying to tell us a story as much as just kind of expressing something, expressing a feeling, expressing a thought, expressing a simple situation, how complex that simple situation could be. I mean, still telling stories, and just like 5 or 6 different art styles through this thing. This bicycle race here was just amazing. But it just conveyed a lot of emotion and thought to me, where it feels like, and like I said, this may be sounding elitist or silly, feels more like art. Less a commercial product, less we're producing this for the masses. This is something that feels like he did for the love of wanting to do what he was doing, and he was going to tell or convey whatever message that he wanted to convey or tell, and that's what he was going to do, and he did through this stuff. I don't know, I don't know enough about Pop-Up to know how this stuff was produced. This was pretty cool. This was Super Trouble. Which is kind of almost manga-esque, but just outstanding stuff. Yeah, like I said, it just, to me, it felt closer to art. It had some real punch parts of it, whatnot. These little tiny short stories. Some of them are like 4 or 5 pages. Some of them are like 2 or 3. But yeah, just I really, really liked it, and I guess it just, sitting down and reading it, it just felt really good to read something that was reaching for something else, that felt like it was trying to be that it was trying to be something beyond just entertainment. Not that there's anything wrong with comic books, for entertainment. Comic books for entertainment. Where to me, it feels more like it's produced, maybe Eternals, the good thing to use is the graphic novel I had sitting around, produced for the masses for easy consumption and entertainment. And there's nothing wrong with that. That's great. I read lots of books like that. I love those books too. But like I said, it was really refreshing to pick this up and just have something else going on, some other expression, some other thoughts, some other feelings and whatnot. I really enjoyed it for that. That was really great. It made me really happy to get this. It just felt good to pick something like that. So after I got done reading this, then I went to this. This is Metaphor. This is Ted McKeever's Metaphor, the complete series. It's a smaller book. I've showed this a long time ago. I just finally got around to reading the darn thing. But all black and white, just absolutely crazy. I love Ted McKeever's art style. He's just got his own fluid way of making and producing his art. He also does a story in here. The story is way out there and just strange. I mean, one of the characters in here is a woman who's probably as big as like Bane, in comparison. She's huge. She's dressed in a Santa suit. And this astronaut guy and his adventure across the country trying to figure out who he is because he has amnesia, and the people that are trying to help him or hinder him, as the case may be. Very metaphysical, very just kind of out there and strange, and I loved it too. I could not recommend this book to anybody, I don't think. because I'd be afraid that you wouldn't like it. But I loved it. I loved it. Ted McKeever's coming out with a new book out from Image. Very excited for that. Very excited to see what that's going to be. He's doing all the work in it, just because he is so kind of out there and marches to his own drum. And yeah, I don't know. I don't want to talk a lot about the book, but it was really cool, and it fell under the art house kind of stuff. And it's just been really nice to pick up a few books like this and remind me that sequential art can tell this amazing stories and elicit really interesting feelings and thoughts and stuff like that, and explore and just kind of stretch itself and be something really, really cool. And so it was exciting to get a hold of some books that were kind of that way, as opposed to our superhero books right now that to me feel like a lot of them are kind of homogenized. They're very base and very simple and very easily consumed. And I enjoy those books, but it's nice to be challenged. And these books were challenging, and I enjoyed that. So it was nice. It was nice to get something like that. I'm hoping we get more of that. Some of the Image books that are coming out have some challenging parts to them. I'm hoping that we'll get some other stuff that comes out that's going to be even a little more adventurous. Like the independent stuff that's coming out right now is walking that line of wanting to be commercially successful. So I think the people who are producing some of these really good books are playing parts of it safe. Or putting the hooks in there they know they're going to keep people around, and I'm fine with that. But I'd like to see more risk. Even, of course, it's easy for me to say because it's not my dollar, it's not my time. Well, it's my dollar if I buy it, I guess. But I'm not the creator that's investing in something and then it going to crap and nobody buying it except for the one crazy person in Eastern Washington buying the weird books, and no one else is. But anyway, that's what I'm kind of hoping for, and this kind of wetted the whistle and brought that all back to me again, that there's this other stuff out there, and hopefully we'll get some more of it. We'll get some more of it in. I'm going to be looking for more Paul Pope stuff, even the stuff that's a little closer to commercial based, more of a straightforward, I'm telling this story, as opposed to some of the stuff that was in this deep cuts and whatnot. But I'll be looking for more of those trades and whatnot to see what's out there that's got extra stuff in it and stuff, because I really enjoy that. It's been really cool. This video's probably gone on really long. I haven't been paying attention to the time, and amazingly, if you're still sitting here listening to this, thank you. I really appreciate everybody who's kind of been hanging out and waiting for me to do more videos again, who've been messaging me and say, hey, when the video's going to come back. The people who've been messaging me and say, hey, is everything okay? Because we haven't seen anything from you for a while. I appreciate all the concern and the desire some people seem to have to want to listen to me talk about comic books and whatnot. I do really appreciate it. I plan on getting back into doing the books. Hopefully, I will get back into doing the reviews too. After I'm done with this, I'm going to get a drink, and if I'm not hoarse, matter of fact, I'm going to do some reviews, talk about some books, talk about the books I read, get back into the whole swing of thing. Just haven't really been feeling it. Not to go into gory details and whatnot, but yeah, last month, some shitty stuff happened, and it kind of, it just kind of sucked the wind out of YouTube for me, and putting myself out here and whatnot. I don't really feel like I put myself out that much when I'm just simply talking about the books and whatnot. But I guess I like to share more than that, because the books aren't just simply books for me. I mean, I love reading comics and sequential art and whatnot, and so I really get into it. And I tend to get into all aspects of it. I like using my What the Fugue to kind of talk about all those different aspects and whatnot. And after some of the stuff that went down, I wasn't sure that I wanted to, put myself out here anymore. We all do. Anybody who puts out a video, whether your face is on the camera or not, you put yourself out there to some degree, makes you subject to, whatever the people want to do or say or act or whatever. And yeah, I guess I don't have a whole lot to say about that, other than it kind of broke my heart, as far as what, and I know people think that sounds silly, but it did, on what whether I wanted to keep doing this and stuff. But I enjoy talking about the comics, and so I'm going to keep doing that. Unless I keep having difficulties, then I'll decide what I'm going to do. I don't feel like I was in the wrong with anything that I did. But we all have our own opinions on whatever. But yeah, we'll get back into some comic books. Hopefully this video gets uploaded. Maybe short time after that, you'll see some reviews of me talking about some comics, and then hopefully Friday we'll get some people on and talk some comics. Nothing else. Hopefully maybe me and Jen at least will be on talking comics. Don't know who else will be talking comics. We'll see what we can get on. If you didn't see it, a couple weeks ago Scott was on. That was pretty awesome. Him feeling good enough to be able to come on and be on the round table. It's been quite a time since he's been on the round table. It was good talking with him, having a few laughs, and enjoyed that. So yeah, enough of this. Thanks for having me back. Hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you down the road with more videos.